Hello, I'm Rachel from Douentza Garden in Ireland, and you are very welcome to today's collab. Now, today's video is all about my top 5 succulents, and anyone who watches my channel will know that I just adore succulents and grow so very many of them. Now, succulents are my favourite because they aren't spiny like cacti, and I do hate the way cacti will prickle you if you try and tend to them in any way, whereas succulents on the other hand have developed structures that hold water and help them deal with arid environments, and there are just so many beautiful ones with gorgeous forms. Now, this video is interesting because I grow succulents in pots in my greenhouse here in Ireland, and I'm in roughly a zone 9. But I'm collaborating today with Fernanda from the channel Fernanda Nascimento Orchids and Succulents, and she lives in zone 11B, which, oh my goodness, so jealous here because Fernanda can grow so many beauties outdoors in her borders, just like garden plants. So it'll be interesting to see how I deal with mine here, what my favourites are, and how Fernanda deals with hers there and what her favourites are. As with all in this series of collabs, to see my full top 5, you're going to have to check out my video, but also Fernanda's, and the link is in the video description. Okay, let's get on with the video. It will come as no surprise to you that one of my 5 top succulents has got to be the Aeonium. The hint is in the fact that I'm holding it here in front of me. Now, this is Aeonium velour, and I think it really is my favourite. It has beautiful architectural form and just looks fantastic in a pot. See, it's in a pot, no matter where you put it. Now, Aeoniums are from the Canary Islands, they're from Madeira, they're from North Africa, but they lend themselves so beautifully to be grown in a pot. And mine are treated just that bit differently because what I do in summer is I plant these out in the garden. I have one border which is slightly raised, so has well-drained soil, and in summer I put these into the ground and it just looks fabulous and very uncharacteristic for my climate to have something as succulent as that being grown outdoors. Whenever anybody visits the garden, they say, "Oh my goodness, how do you get away with that in winter?" And the truth is, of course I don't. The Aeoniums need to be dug up in autumn and brought into the greenhouse where I overwinter them bone dry, and then in spring water them a bit, get them going, and then when all danger of frost has passed, plant them out in the border. Like all succulents, they need well-drained soil, full sun, and protection in winter from frost. So yeah, this one definitely one of my favourites. Number 5, I'm not sure, we're going to get a bit mixed up with the numbers in this video, but let's say that this is my number 5. Right, now we're going to jump over to visit Fernanda's channel in Portugal in zone 11B, oh my goodness, and let's hear what 2 of her favourite succulents are.
Hi everyone, I'm so glad to be here, and I have to thank Rachel for inviting me to this fun collaboration video. My name is Fernanda Nascimento and I live in Portugal. In my garden I grow several plants that are adequate to my climate, but I also grow orchids and succulents. This is a succulent video, and this is to show you my top 5 succulents, at least the ones at the moment. And 2 of them are to be seen here in this video, in Rachel's channel. If you want to see my other 3, you will have to come to my channel. So after this video is finished, I invite you to my channel and to my video to see my other choices. So let's see which are the ones I brought for you to see now. Succulents are very easy to grow in my environment. It seems I have the perfect climate. As long as I give them enough sunlight and little water, they grow happily and make me happy. I grow them in pots and also planted on the ground, as you can see here in this part of the garden. They bloom very often, but they do not even need flowers to be beautiful. I have to say I had some difficulty in choosing which succulents to highlight in this video. I love them all. Most of them grew from very small under my care, and I have them for years. But to start with, I decided to choose this agave. I love its architectural shape. Isn't it a beauty? I find it so particular. I love its gray-blue-green leaves. They bear the markings of the older leaves on them. They are rough and leathery at the same time to the touch. The margins are smooth, as they do not have the usual teeth. However, we must be careful because they have these very strong black spines at the tips. This was a gift from a friend, and I love it very much also for that. However, it does not have an ID. But I very strongly believe this is agave nigra, a natural hybrid found in Mexico. When I got it, it was just a pup. It was 3 years ago, and it has grown quite a lot since then. I have it here where it has enough space, although I keep hoping it does not grow much more. If it is what I think, it won't. Leaves should not grow much more than 60 centimeters long, which is about 2 feet. Not all agaves grow to giants. It all depends on the species or the hybrid. Most of them grow very well in a pot as a specimen plant, and they look wonderful and so decorative. Another succulent I love is this one. It is a primary hybrid. It's called Graptoveria Fred Ives. It's a pretty common succulent, easy to find and very easy to grow and very rewarding. I like it very much, and so do the snails. It's so very difficult to be on top of all of them when growing outdoors like I do. This plant produces these large clumps of rosettes, and the large broad leaves are sort of waxy, and they have these wonderful colors. They vary from pearly bronze to purplish yellow, orange to blue-green. I have these in several places of the garden because they are so beautiful. My only difficulty with this succulent is that it is a very vigorous grower and forms large clumps in no time. Sometimes I don't have the space where to put them. Luckily, there are always friends that appreciate a gift. I highly recommend this succulent. Easy to grow, easy to find, and very beautiful. So these are two of my favorite succulents of the moment. I hope you like them, and I hope you will visit me in my channel after this video to see what others I have to show you, the 3 remaining of the top 5. And now back to Rachel to enjoy her beauties.
Wow, thank you for that, Fernanda. What a treat for me to see how you grow agaves outdoors, in the soil, in the open ground in your garden. And you don't have to dig them up and manhandle them into a greenhouse for winter. I think you'd have difficulty in any case getting something that enormous out of the ground. You'd surely do yourself an injury with all those spiny protuberances and bits that stick off and hurt. Now, my second favourite succulent is also an agave, and it's this one here. So this is Agave Mediopicta alba. It's a variegated form, and I just love the contrast of green and cream in its leaves. This is one of a family, and the original grandmother was bought by me many years ago on a holiday in France, where I saw it in a garden centre and just had to buy it. Now it came home on my lap in the car because, strangely, not another member of my family wanted to have that plant on their lap in the car. So of course it came home with me on my lap. And I've never regretted it because I absolutely love this plant. And I love the fact that I have the grandmother, I have the children, this is one of the children, and I have the grandchildren, a whole family set up that lives in my greenhouse in the winter and in the summer as well, actually, because I don't plant them in the garden. They just stay as pot plants. But so low maintenance and yeah, easy to tend. So that's definitely my second favourite succulent. Now we need to move on to the first favourite, my top succulent. And this is a very special plant that we're going to have to leave the greenhouse and go indoors to see, because this one is so special I daren't risk it in the frost-free greenhouse over winter. I would be devastated if I lost it, so I kept it indoors in the house. Okay, let's go inside and see it. And here we have her. Yes, her. Now this is an Ibervillea. It comes from deserty places in Texas and the southern states and Mexico as well, I believe. And it's a caudex. So over time this plant has evolved to store water in that large structure you see that sits proud of the earth, and it's called a caudex. And that just helps the plant tide itself through drought times. The Ibervillea is a climbing plant, which you can witness from these tendrils that hang down in this case, but you can train them to go up. This might look like a giant potato to you, and I am very well aware it's not to everyone's taste, but it is definitely to my taste. This plant is my pride and joy, so much so that it even has a name. Her name is Jessie, and the name was originally given to her because I didn't know if she was male or female. Jessie's a kind of neutral name. However, last summer Jessie flowered, and when I saw those flowers I knew that it was female, because you can only identify from the look of the flowers. So I'm delighted now to say that yes, Jessie is female, and yes, Jessie is definitely number one of my favourite succulents. And that brings me to the end of this video on my top 5 succulents. But you have only seen 3 of my favourites. You're going to have to now go over to Fernanda's channel, which is linked up there, and check out my other 2 favourites. Also, you'll see the rest of Fernanda's choices. This has been a really fun collaboration. I hope you'll go and subscribe to Fernanda's channel, because she has so many beauties that we will all drool over in the course of her coming videos. Thank you as always for watching, and check back for this time and this day next week for the next in my series of top 5 collabs, this time a different selection of plants. Thanks for watching again. Bye!